Today we're going on another watercolor side quest for World Watercolor Month, and I really hope you'll just sit down, take a moment, slow down, and paint with me. At this point, we are a couple of days into World Watercolor Month, and I'm hoping that you're finding so much joy in this process as you're painting along with other artists. I mean, there is so much activity this time of year for us watercolor lovers. So I am still in my week 1, but we are on side quest number 2. Thinking water, and then I was thinking about mid-air, maybe a landscape, and that's where my brain has been stuck since the 1st of July. So if you want to get caught up with where we're at to this point, you're watching, you're binging, check in the description below. We do have a playlist there. If you're wondering, like, okay, Kristy, we're a few days into this and I'm still not quite understanding this whole side quest thing. And really for me, the word side quest was just a way to kind of disconnect you a bit from the idea and having focus be a requirement for fulfillment and success during this challenge. Kind of taking a little detour. So my detours are that I am not painting daily during World Watercolor Month unless I want to. I'm not feeling any commitment to creating something that is very specifically matched to these prompts. In order to stay in that mindset, I've whittled it down to essentially 4 prompts or 4 side quests, if you will. Let's get into the painting. I have my Art for Joy's Sake palette here. I do have my booster colors in here, which at the time of recording were not available yet. I'm using my Art Bible journal. I'm going to go ahead and turn this horizontal. Getting my brush wet. Use what brush you have, what you love. Don't feel like you have to use mine. This is probably around an 18 round. And I'm just going to grab whatever is on my palette. I encourage you to do the same. Keeps it low key, low stress. Because let me tell you what, friends, my side quests are low key, low stress. At least I'm going back to the idea of strokes from earlier this week. And I'm just going to start laying down some horizontals. I'm going to grab another color that's just there and easy. And I'm going to press and press a little harder and lift and continue to drag and press. Yeah. All right. Grab a color you're excited about using, maybe something you haven't used in a while. I've got this like indigo cerulean situation. I'm just going right over top there with another stroke. Press heavy. See what happens. Lift gradually. See what happens. Really light pressure and just do like a scratchy drag. See how thin you can get that. And this is where I'm kind of thinking mid-air. This is my airy area of the painting. And if you couldn't have guessed, friends, this is definitely going a lot abstract. And I love that. I find abstract like this that has some ties to something real. So air, landscape, ocean, perhaps, is helpful, but then giving yourself that flexibility to really simplify your brush strokes, giving yourself that permission to really just have it not necessarily look exactly like a thing is super helpful. Now, if you want to know about the technique here, I've been doing wet on dry paper, so wet brush on dry paper, but as you can see, I've been letting the paint run out. And when you see my hand go off camera, know that I'm probably grabbing a little more water onto my brush, not necessarily rinsing. Now, I want to go ahead and do an ombre down here. So this is my sky, believe it or not. This is my mid-air because I didn't want to just do a wash and have it be flat and still. I wanted it to feel like maybe something was mid-air, like there was action, there was energy. I'm going to keep the same brush. And I'm just going to brush on some clean water. You see that there? Brush on some clean water. Yes, I do break into random song. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I'm just going to go down the page and going off camera there, grabbing more water. And let me show you kind of how wet this is. There it is for you. Now get comfortable. You might want to turn your page, right? You might want to turn your body. Do whatever is comfortable. I'm turning my page a little bit. And I'm going to go for this indigo. Really deep blue. My brush is damp, but I've got a ton of paint on the brush. All right, you're going to see that real quick. And if you're really new to watercolor, this bowing in a sketchbook where not all the edges are secured down, completely normal. If you're worried about something underneath getting smudged, grab a piece of whatever paper that you don't really care about, put it underneath. All right, gonna reload and we're gonna sweep and right underneath sweep. And then we're gonna evaluate. How does it feel? Do we like the look of it? Do we wanna like go underneath with just water and spread it out? Because we could do that. I don't think so. And what is essentially happening here is wet on wet. And I'm gonna sweep again. A lot of pressure, sweep, let it run out. Sweep again. And look, I ran out of paint. I wanna smooth that out. So I'm gonna get some more water on my brush. Did that off camera, just so there's no confusion. Now, asking myself, do I like this hard edge? I actually do. I feel no desire to kind of fill that in or smooth that out, but you may want to. So let me show you how to do that at this point if that's something you want to do. All right, I'm just going to sweep a little more over here. No more water on the brush, just use what's on there. Sweep again over here, back and forth. Now we're going to get some more water on the brush. Now, I'll be honest, friends. If I wanted this kind of smooth look that I'm about to create right now, I wouldn't have started with all these brush strokes. I wouldn't have started there. But we can do smooth even at this point. So now I'm just taking a very damp brush. I wouldn't call it a wet brush, but I'm calling it a very damp brush, right? And I'm stroking it back and forth, getting a little water, went off camera there. Got a little more paint too, because I kind of want it to be dark down here. And I do actually feel the need now to go all the way to the edge, even on the bottom here. I'm being pretty persnickety. All right. If your stripes aren't getting smoother, you feel like they're getting streakier, just let the paper settle and dry a few moments, like 10 seconds, 5 seconds. And then also maybe blot your brush off on a paper towel and come back. All right. Really light touch. I actually like this. I think it's lovely. I'm not going to fuss with it too much more. However, be aware, this will continue to change. It could get streakier as it dries. Just want you to see how damp that actually is. But this could continue to do weird things as it dries. Now, we're going to take the mindset of keeping an eye on things, end quote, and go on with our, you know what? No, changed my mind. Remember I mentioned bleed proof white? Let's get some of that out. Let's get some of that out. You don't have bleed proof white? You could do this with a darker blue. You don't want to do it? Don't do it. All right. I'm kind of feeling like I want to do it. I'm going into my bleed proof white with my liner brush. You don't have a liner brush? Use the very tip of your round brush and don't worry about it. I'm getting a little bit on there. I am scraping excess off and I'm going right into the damp paper. Ooh. Right into the damp paper. I have a fan on right now, y'all. So I sometimes think when you have a fan on overhead or in the room, all bets are off. You don't really know what's going to happen because that air circulating does this thing. That's pretty. And actually, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to continue. I like the idea of there being some of the white into the dark blue, but leaving some of this just still smooth. It's lovely. All right. Now, I am going to grab a blue. Not a lot of paint on my brush. I just want some finer lines in my mid-air. I just want to have fun. I just want to breathe through these strokes. I'm not reinventing the whole look right now. You're going to have to reload often with a synthetic liner. I just want to sit and paint thin, pretty lines. Knowing that I'm going to have to reload often actually makes the process even more like cathartic and meditative because you can get yourself into a rhythm, kind of fill in these white areas. If quiet bothers you, you can put on some music while you're doing something like this. But the idea behind this technique, if you're going to call it a technique, is it's predictable. We're filling in the white spots with thin, wispy lines that are longer than they are shorter. We're reloading our brush often. We're sticking with the same color. If we want something darker or lighter, we're just adding more water or blotting water off the brush. Let this be a meditative moment for the week, for the day. And just fill in until it feels boring. With this type of practice, stopping when you're feeling a little bored, distracted, over it, is kind of the point. It did its job. The exercise, the painting session, the time with your brush did its job. You don't have to put a time on it. You don't have to be like, oh, it's not worth it if it's not at least 30 minutes. Your body, your mind, your breath, your heart will tell you when the watercolor moment did its job. I'm actually really enjoying watching the paint run out. And don't think that these moments of painting just for the sake of painting, just for the sake of putting brush to paper, don't hold teachable moments in them. For example, right now, I am being distinctly reminded of water control and what happens when you want to get a nice fine line, continuous, not a lot of texture, but your paper is dry and your brush is running out of moisture as well. Friends, breathe, sink into this for as long as it feels interesting, and just be ready for some quiet aha moments. Don't forget to share if you'd like what you've created. Instagram, Kristy the Painter. Until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Happy painting.